Well, it's a massive game here on Saturday night in Dubai. Top of the table clash, both sides unbeaten, and it's England versus Australia. Former Australian cricketer Shane Watson is beside me now. For an England player and fan, it's a massive game. Does it feel the same for an Australian?
Oh, look, of course it is, for sure. It's anytime you get a chance to be able to play England, and especially in an ICC event as well, it's very special. And the way England have been playing their short format cricket, their one-day cricket, and also their T20 cricket, the Aussies they're going to have to be at their absolute best to be able to try and knock off England at the moment. They've been very impressive with their form of late.
You say they have to be at their best. It looks like they're getting better with every game. A good win against Sri Lanka the other night.
Well, they have needed to, and especially our T20 cricket, we haven't been great. We've never really had our combinations playing consistently at any stage, really in the lead up to any T20 World Cup that Australia's been a part of. So last night's, the game against Sri Lanka was really important to be able to just get those combinations working a little bit better. Adam Zampa was brilliant through the middle. Josh Hazlewood continues to sort of stand up, and Mitchell Starc, he looks like he's a little bit short of a gallop, but he bowled a couple of, one ball in particular to get Kushal Perera out was an incredible ball. So he's important. Then our top order, Aaron Finch, he got a few little birthday gifts to start his innings as well to get him up and running in the UAE, and also Dave Warner. He batted nicely. Again, it's amazing, just one little thing can make a massive difference. He got dropped an absolute sitter by Kushal Perera behind off the glove down leg side, and from that moment you could see the flick of the switch, and then he was just really on. He started just not overhit the ball but find the gaps, and for Australia to do really well throughout this tournament, we've got world-class top order or opening batsmen, so they need to be firing.
What is David Warner like? I'm talking about as a cricketer, because he's been saying, well, it hasn't bothered me, I just need some time in the middle. You know, as a cricketer, you do fret behind the scenes. Would he have been fretting and worried about his form?
Human nature is, you normally do a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even if he knows that he might have been batting decently, or he was just a little bit underdone, because he had the whole winter off. So he was going into the IPL as a starting point, the second leg of the IPL, off no cricket, being an opening batsman against the world's best bowlers. It can take a little bit of time to find your feet, and it's just shorter runs here. The first game against South Africa, you could see after a couple of balls his feet were moving, starting to really move quickly forward and back, and he's getting into better positions. So I'm stoked for him. He's a seriously good guy. He's an incredible cricketer, and I love that he was able to get an innings of some substantial note against Sri Lanka, just to be able to give him that confidence going into the tournament. But human nature is, you're always going to be, you can put on a sort of bit of bravado and a brave face to say it wasn't really affecting you, but when you sort of look yourself in the mirror, it's probably affecting you a little bit.
What about that other world-class player you have in Steve Smith? He's sometimes not found a role in T20 cricket, either for a franchise or Australia. Do these pitches, I know it was a good pitch last night, but do these pitches out here just bring his batting style more into play for someone that does need to knock it around a bit?
These pitches do bring his skill into play a bit more. I'd love to see Steve Smith batting at 3. Because that's where, even if he comes in the power play, he finds the boundary a lot easier. His record is better when he comes into the power play at some stage, because then we can just, like, Australia can just sort of line up the power from Mitchell Marsh all the way through to even like Marcus Stoinis and Matthew Wade, and we can't forget Glenn Maxwell as well. So I would really like to see Steve Smith batting at 3, but he'll always find a way to be really effective. And the chase that Australia had against Sri Lanka, that suits him down at the ground. He got 26 off 25 balls without really having to take a risk, running hard. So if Australia are only really chasing those sort of totals, or trying to set that sort of total, then that's where Steve Smith's really at his best.
For England, the only decision they've got to make, they've got to wait to see if Mark Wood is fit. Remember, he's coming back from those ankle injections he's had. But also then, if he does play, who do they leave out? Whether it's going to be Jordan, who's been through with England all the way through their T20 campaign for a couple of years now, or if it's Wokes, who in the last game bowled 4 overs, 1 for 12 without going for a boundary. So it's quite a nice decision to have. It'll be a tough decision. What about Australia? Are you comfortable as an all-rounder? You'd have played that role as the 4th, 5th bowler. They're looking for that 5th bowler. Are you okay with them, Stoinis, Maxwell, maybe Marsh, when he's fully fit, just playing that role? You happy with that balance of side?
I am, yes, because there has been a few question marks over our batting, in particular the top order with Finch and Dave Warner, but they put that to rest hopefully against Sri Lanka. But just to give the Australians a little bit more batting depth meant that they've got to go into into each game at the moment with only 4 like proper frontline bowlers. But Maxwell, yes, he's bowling nice, and he's continuing to always get better. Stoinis can fulfil a role, but there is no question that the teams are going to be targeting the 5th bowler. So Maxwell, Stoinis, every time they come on to bowl, whenever they bowl, they are going to be under the gun, and the batsmen are going to be putting a lot of heat on them. So it's wicket-taking opportunities for the Aussies, because there's going to be some heat on that number 5, that 5th bowler, those 4 overs. But it also means that they could get exposed a little bit. But I'm backing the Australian, Maxwell and Stoinis in particular, their skill to be able to just get themselves out of trouble when the batsmen do go hard at them in the first couple of balls of each over.
Well, that's tomorrow night. After that, once this tournament's finished, there's a small matter of the Ashes coming up as well. And last week it was announced that Ben Stokes has returned to full fitness, both mental and physical. How much of a boost is that for England as an all-rounder? You know, just in the series as well, having a great cricketer like Stokes back.
It's super exciting. When it was announced that Stokes and Archer wouldn't be fit and available for the Ashes series, that for me took a little bit of the real excitement out of the Ashes. But when it got announced last week that Ben Stokes is coming out, it's a great thing for everyone, all cricket fans around the world, whether you're Australian or English fans, because he is just such an incredible player. He's a match winner, and you never want to miss a ball when he's involved in the game in any way, because he always can find ways to be able to turn a game. So it is. I was a little bit deflated when I read that, to be honest. Know the impact of the mental scars that the Aussies are going to have after some of the dominant performances that Ben Stokes has. So it's a great thing. Physically, he's got back to full health, but also mentally, it's a great thing for everyone.
Okay, prediction for tomorrow night. One word.
Aussies win. That's 2.
And Ashes prediction.
At home in Australia, without Jofra Archer. An Aussies win, just that extra bit of firepower that the English will be missing. That was incredible to watch in the last Ashes in England. So home conditions with the Aussies, I'd be surprised if they got beaten.
Shane Watson was talking a lot of sense before those last 2 answers. Tomorrow we've got, 2:30 UK time for the first instalment of England against Australia this winter.